Ain't the fame that I'm after when paying the dues. I've been through the pain that's reflected in the attitude. Might be winning now, but the thing is that I had to lose. So go and tell me what you really want to do. And load me at the top, cause there ain't a lot of room. Ain't no other option, that's all I ever knew. So I'ma get it poppin', you know how I'ma do. I've been down through the blood and the sweat. Guarantee you can know I'm a threat. I've been down through the blood and the sweat. And I ain't close to being done yet, I'm going all in. Yeah, I'm going all in. And I ain't close to being done yet, I'm going all in. Yeah. They know I'm going all in.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Niner Boys podcast. I'm your host, Niner Sickness. I got one of my co-hosts here live with me, Peter Lucas. And our boy Brandon is not with us today. He is at a birthday party spending quality time with family. So we are representing him, but we are on all channels here tonight. I'm looking forward for a wonderful, wonderful discussion of the Niners. We're going to talk a little bit about the victory against Seattle. We're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming opponent in the Chiefs. And we're going to talk about the Monday Night Flag Football. Monday Night Flag Football. Because I don't know if you guys watched the game between the Jets and who did they play? The Bills.
Bills.
There were a bunch of penalties, over 230 plus yards and penalties. We're going to talk about that as well. Peter, my friend, my buddy,
sir.
How are you doing, sir? How's your week? What you been up to?
Oh, it's another day in the life. Another day in the life. But yeah, we're good. Like we're still riding high off the 49er win, getting ready for this Chiefs game. And I think I don't know. I don't know who it means more to. Does it mean more to the fans or does it mean more to the team? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I hear you. But I don't know. We've been having one of those seasons, bro, where we're 3-3, not quite the way we like to start off a season. Last year we were 5-0, going strong and chucking along. And this year is a little bit different, but I do believe that when you go through adversity and you go through difficult times, you find out what your team is made of. You find out what the locker room is made of. You find out those that either have your back or start talking behind your back. And all the indications, Pete, has shown me that even though at 3-3, this team does not talk negative about each other. They're not like other teams that put people under the bus, like Rodgers, that I'm mentioning names. You know what I mean? This team really backs each other up, backs up their coach. And this is the winning culture that we have built here under Kyle and John, that even through the bad times, you're not going to hear this little back talks about the team. Everybody, either you're on board or you're not. And I think this team is starting a little by little, starting to come back. I think it was important to make that statement game against Seattle. I think the Niners had a rude awakening. Me personally, I think that the Niners were a little, what's the word I'm looking for, Pete? Where they're like, we're the Niners. We go to the NFC Championship every year. We went to the Super Bowl.
Feeling themselves.
Yeah, they're feeling themselves. Exactly. And sometimes you can do that, and you don't take certain teams lightly, or you take them lightly, I should say. And I think these two games against the division was a rude awakening. They came out strong Thursday night with a short amount of rest. It looked like almost it was going to be another three-peat of, oh, crap. First, second quarter, you have a huge lead. Third quarter, you start letting the team come back. Fourth quarter, they come back and take over the lead. I felt that was coming, but the Niners shut it down. And Pete, talk about our rookies. that game was taken over by our rookies. I'm gonna give you the floor. I'm gonna bring up comments as you speak, bro. But talk about these rookies, brother.
Yeah. So it's not so much a changing of the guard. Like I don't want to say it like we're just gonna look past all the guys that have been on this team and have shown up and shown out for years and the core of this team. But honestly, a lot of the core that we're used to as 49er fans have kind of, a lot of them are falling by the wayside. Of course, you got your Kittles, you've got your Fred Warners. But even when those guys are going down for like, even if it's just for a game or a couple of quarters, these rookies and these young guys and these undrafted guys are stepping up and involving themselves and actually showing up. I mean, we could go down the line. D Winters has flashed. You've got Renardo Green got a pick in the last game. You have Mustafa that got can we just thank the Lord that his ankle sprain was a low ankle sprain and not a high ankle sprain, so he's probably not going to miss games. I don't know if they've. I haven't heard anything about how he's practicing yet. So, but I'm there. I think they were pretty hopeful that he's not going to miss any time. But then you've got, Jacob Cowing. We really haven't had a chance to really see much from him other than special teams. But Pooney, he's our second best lineman right now. It really just comes down to this 49er team needed an influx of youth and just to see some guys that could eventually take over for the core that we currently have that are starting to get up in the year, that are starting to get long in the tooth. So I love it personally. It's about time that we've gotten some new fresh blood in and like the last couple of drafts haven't been the greatest. So it was nice for them to have a draft that, they've almost hit on, we don't know what Pearsall is yet, but we've almost hit on what it's over 60% of them. I can say for short returns, but we'll see. But I'm really liking what I'm seeing from the young guys.
Absolutely. Ricky Pearsall, he was showing a lot of promise prior, hurting his shoulder and then obviously getting shot. And that within itself is still a miracle that the bullet went through his chest and now he's coming back. Now they opened the window a few weeks later. You get shot and then a couple of weeks later, they're opening up the window. Yeah, 44 days. And then they open up the window for you to come back to practice. I can't wait to see what he brings to the table. But I love the idea that Jair Brown has played well. The rookie, they're all rookies, but Mustafa, he had his first interception. Now, he is a rookie, and Fred Warner in his press conference mentioned it. I got to teach this young buck how to stay in bounds and get as many yards as you can. Because clearly he could have ran up the field. But I understand his first interception, it was probably overwhelming, and he just ran out. So we'll give him a break on that. And then towards the end, before I get to that, Dominic Pooney has been playing exceptional football since he started. This week, he's going to go up against, now that What's-His-Name's retired from the Rams, the D-tackle from...
Aaron Donald?
Aaron Donald, now that he's retired, now they're going to face, what's the kid's name from Kansas City?
No, Chris Jones.
Chris Jones. Not quite Aaron Donald, but pretty tough guy to go through. So we're going to see.
He's been better against the Niners than Aaron Donald is. I'll be honest.
True. Hey, Melissa. How you doing, girl? Good to see you.
What up, Melissa?
And so we're going to get a test of Dominic Pooney, but he's been PFF has him the top 9th best guard in football right now. That's a huge compliment for the rookie. And then towards the end, where we felt like, oh God, This is closer than we wanted it to be. Renardo Green, my boy from Florida State Seminoles, go Seminoles, stepped up big and got the inner. Now, the one for Malik, it kind of was an overthrown ball. It kind of he was still in the right place. Great interception for Mustafa, but the one with Renardo Green, he kind of invaded the quarterback to throw the ball. He was kind of making him feel like he was too backed off on that play, and as soon as the ball went up in the air, he underran the route and got that interception, which was very vital to put it away. These rookies are definitely stepping up, and like you said, Pete, if the Niners can continue to draft this way and develop these youngsters to eventually be starters, and I understand that draft picks are they're just 50-50s, lotto ticket picks, but if they do plan out, and the Niners have shown through history that they do pick good ones in the later rounds, then that money that is going to be allocated to our quarterback won't hurt us as much. As long as you get the players like Renardo Greens, you get linebackers like Buffoon and stuff like that. As long as you're able to draft well, then you can stay in pace, and that window that people love to use can still stay open. It's when you got to pay a lot of money to your quarterback and the draft picks you pick don't hit. That's when I feel that it's a spiral downhill type of thing. What are your thoughts on that, Pete? But before I let you go, I just want to say welcome to Melissa, Don, Dodson, Tara Dome's in the house.
Chad is crazy right now.
My boy 49ers Throwback is in the house. We got Adrian. He's my boy. He's a big Chiefs fan, so he's making sure we talk properly about his team. We got Brad in the house. What's up, Brad? Jimmy's in the house. We got the Regal Eagle podcast, the Regal Eagle podcast in the house. What's up, guys? So, Pete,
I forgot what the question was.
it's okay. So did I. But we'll move on. We'll play it. That's where I said Pete. I'm like, what?
Something about the draft.
Yeah, the draft. But it's all right. Pooney going against Chris Jones. How do you think it's going to go based on both performers? What's up, Luis Moreno?
Oh, what's going on, Luis? So what I look at when I'm looking at he's not going to just be going up against Pooney. If Pooney, this is a big test. I think this is going to be the biggest test for Pooney that he's had. He's looked great so far this season, but how does he match up against Chris Jones? Pooney's a big guy, and I mean Chris Jones is a monster, but it'll be interesting to see how. Like I don't think he's going to end up matching up against him that often. I think that they're going to try and isolate him on Brindle, because that's obviously our weak link at this point. And I see a lot of people talking bad about Chris Brindle on a daily basis on Twitter. I think that and not that I guess that that people should feel sorry for him, but I mean, he's had a knee issue since before the season even started. And I got to believe that's really hindering him right now. But your knee honestly has nothing to do with the calls on the line. And I think that his calls on the line have regressed this year as well. There's been a couple of broken protections that nobody was on anybody on a couple of them. So, but also Feliciano is supposed to be, his practice window got opened up at 2, I believe. And people are hoping that he gets moved into that center spot eventually, but I don't know that Kyle trusts him to do the calls at the line, because I think that's an interesting thing to look at as far as what are they thinking about Feliciano at this point? Is he going to go because Aaron Banks has been struggling the last couple of weeks? I don't know if he's injured at all, but could Feliciano move to the left side to take over for Banks? There's a lot of there's a lot of possibilities on the line, but at the very least, I think the 49ers have a little bit of depth. I mean, it's kind of weird to say that when we don't really think too much of the line, but To answer your question about Pooney versus Christian, I just don't think that they're going to be matched up against each other that often. I think that
He's going to be over with McKivitz.
I think that yeah, I think well, I think that that the Spags is probably not going to line him up against our best offensive lineman and try and get him in favorable matchups like against Brindle, against Banks, and yeah, maybe even against McKivitz. I mean, he doesn't really play outside too much, but I doubt. I mean, I'm sure they'll end up clashing a couple of times, but I expect Pooney to be fine. I don't think he's gonna get ran over or anything. I think he's gonna play the same way he's been playing all season. And the way this scheme for the 49ers is built, it's not built for him to be holding up in pass protection forever. So it is what it is. It's just about everybody being in the right spot at the right time. And quite frequently against this Chiefs team, the 49ers have just struggled to do that.
Yeah. So what's up, Chemo in the house? How you doing, brother? I got your stuff ready to go. I have it in an envelope, ready to go. I was going to send it today, bro, but I got lazy. I'm not going to lie. Didn't even go anywhere today, but I'll try to drop it off at the post office tomorrow, Chemo. Chemo won 3 patches in 3 different times in one setting, bro. This guy was on fire.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was on fire, bro. But, yeah, listen, I saw that game against the Dallas Cowboys and Detroit. And, when you want to know what a bad team looks like, it's Dallas. It's Dallas. I mean, Dallas, yes, they had some hurt players on defense, but their offense, now, give it, all they have is one playmaker truly on offense and CeeDee Lamb, nobody else. They shut him down, and where else do you go? So I don't really put too much on Dak on those, but that's a bad team. The Niners are not a bad team. The Niners dropped 2 games they shouldn't have dropped. They underplayed the Rams and the Cardinals, and I believe that and hope that they got their act together. We got a lot of talent on this roster. Yes, we're missing CMC, but Jordan Mason is picking up the slack, and now Guerindo's getting his feet wet in there. We got Debo doing Debo things. We got Ayuk starting to get his feet underneath him. Kittle still always Kittle, and even Juice. Talking about Juice and Kittle real quick. It was great to see them jumping into the stands when their wives were there. Mm-hmm. I thought it was pretty cool that they were able to do that. And there was a moment where Kittle got caught up in the second touchdown that even Debo decided to get into the whole jump into the stands with the wives. And you can see Claire, instead of doing the hugging, she just kind of like tapped Debo on the back, like, yeah, don't be hugging Debo, Claire, because Kittle's not going to like that. But I thought that was so cool that the wives were there supportive. That was pretty cool. But the team that we got, man, even with the offensive line, I understand we have questions at times, but this team, as long as they can continue to get healthy, Pete, as long as they don't continue to endure freaking injuries, this is a good team. Just played 2 bad games against, gave 2 games away. Our schedule doesn't get easier. We play the Chiefs this Sunday. Then we play the Cowboys. The Cowboys I'm not worried about, even if they're coming off their bye. They can't run the ball. They're one-dimensional team. But then you start looking at the Bills. You start looking at the Green Bay Packers, who are playing good football. The Niners need to continue to stack up wins. With all that said, how important now? I understand the Kansas City Chiefs is not an NFC team; it's an AFC. But how important do you believe this win is for the Niners, and why? Why do you think the Niners should win it?
So, in the grand scheme of things, this win it's not really that important to the 49ers, other than the fact that the 49ers just need momentum. And I think that the win would get them a humongous amount of momentum. Getting that, I know it's regular season. I get it. Like we need to beat them in the playoffs, and or the Super. It would be the Super Bowl. But the reality is the 49ers need to know that it's possible at this point. And and then not only would they get that, but they'd get a win. They would get over 500. Just getting that one, and then they would go, and then they would play Dallas, which as bad as Dallas looks, like anybody can get beat on any week. But I think that would give them a huge amount of confidence going forward in the guys that are in the building right now, because they do have a lot of injuries. But everybody's got injuries, and they're gonna have to play through it. But I think that the reality of the situation as far as the it's about the offense to me. Like they need to this offense is really just predicated on scheme, and if everybody isn't on the same page, and there's one weak link in the chain on any given play, it looks like a car wreck. Yeah. And as good as the players are, that the 49ers have, it kind of the scheme almost takes how good of players that they are out of it. Just it doesn't utilize their strengths all the time, because it becomes all about the scheme and not about who the players and and who they have on the other side of them. This offense doesn't take advantage of matchups. I think that if you look at the matchup, like versus the Chiefs, I think that our skill guys are. I mean, it shouldn't be a question of can you find somebody that's open, but we don't challenge matchups. So it's it's just a weird thing. Every game is going to be that way. It's all about can the 49ers execute, and how Kyle is going to really have that scheme going in from week to week.
Yeah, definitely. Because this year, I believe last year the Niners were top maybe 2 in red zone. Getting the ball in, and they're struggling this year for sure. A lot of those field goals should be touchdowns, but I believe they'll get it together. I believe that Kyle will start dial up. I think Kyle kind of got away from doing things a certain way, and they try to get a little too cute with trying to do something a little bit different. And I think against Seattle, he went back to balancing the run with the pass. There was a lot of balance there, and that's what the Niners are known for. That's our bread and butter, is to run and balance that. If we can have 25 to 28 touches in the run game, that pretty much gives us a chance to win. It's when we get away from that that we kind of struggle a little bit. And I think Kyle hopefully gets back to the balance things out. We shall see against Kansas City. But I think this is a must-win, not in the great scheme of things, like you said. You lose to an AFC team. I'd rather lose to an AFC team than an NFC team if we have to lose, period. But Kansas City has been that thorn on the side where the players start buying in. Can we beat this team? Can we beat them? We played them in 2019. We got beat. We played them in 2022. We got spanked at home. We played them in the Super Bowl last year. We got beaten. And sooner or later, you start buying in. Can we beat Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid? So I think the Niners, is it a must-win? No. Is it a confidence win? Absolutely. The Niners need to beat Kansas City. I don't care if we beat them by 1 point or we blow them out, which I don't think is ever going to be a blowout. The Chiefs are not that bad. They're pretty good. Real quick, I want to welcome Seth. They came in. Val came in. Up, we got Kenny in the house. We got Dion, Niner Gang Podcast in the house. What's up, gentlemen? Welcome to the podcast.
I just want to see them beat an AFC team, I'll be honest. Because, I mean, we talk about Kansas City, but they can't beat Baltimore either. and they can't beat, and they haven't beaten the Bills since 2015. They haven't beaten the I don't think they've beaten Baltimore since 2015. So it's I just want to see that they can beat an AFC team. That for me, I'm just being selfish as a fan. I just want to see that they can do it, because it just seems to me that they get outside the NFC and it's a crapshoot.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's a confidence boost for the players. People don't realize how, like I said, is it a must win? No, but if you can go in there and handle your business against Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City and beat them, that next step on playing Buffalo. Now Buffalo doesn't seem like, can we beat a AFC team? Like Pete said, you beat Kansas City. Now you're like, you know what? We can beat whoever gets in front of us if we play our type of football. And as long as the Niners play their type of football, as long as Kyle doesn't get too cute with his play calling, as long as Kyle sticks to the run, even if the run isn't working, even if they're stacking the box 8 or 9 defensive players, stick with what worked, what got you here, and it's the run. Stick with the run. That'll open up the play action. And I've noticed this year we haven't done a lot of play action as last year we did. What do you think the Niners have gotten away from that, Pete?
Kyle says it's about the looks. He says that every time that he always says it's about the looks anytime people question him on why he goes away from their identity. But it can't be about the looks when you're talking about your identity. And I know there's a lot of people out there that buy into what Kyle's selling about, well, if they're showing all these guys at the line, I'm not going to just run into a brick wall. Okay, you have to run the ball regardless of what they're showing you, because you have to keep them honest. So they have to know that you're willing to run into that brick wall, and that you're willing to at least try to get to catch them sleeping. Because just because they show that at the line doesn't mean that they're all going to end up there when the ball's snapped. So I don't buy into that whole thing. But it's not just it's not just about Kyle and what he does. Can the special teams not fumble the ball? Can we
get a complete game?
Can the special teams not allow a touchdown? Can our running backs not fumble the ball? Whoever it is, Mason, CMC, it doesn't matter who it is, because CMC's had a bunch of key fumbles last year too. Like, what is it going to or we talked about the offensive line earlier. Can the offensive line just not let free rushers come? Like, that's really when those pressure situations, we need to get to the point to where we can execute. It doesn't matter who's in front of us. And our special teams has been terrible all season. So I don't know what's going to happen as far as that. I think that we have not seen the last of our special teams being a problem, because they haven't not one game have they had a game where they just a clean like a clean slate. There hasn't been any game where they've just been 100% okay. If somebody either gets our kicker, we've lost 2 kickers now. I think we're going to keep this guy, but they signed another guy to the practice squad just so they have somebody there. And yeah, it's special teams is just that is the most ridiculous reason to lose a game, in my opinion. Like,
it is, but it's a very important part of the game.
Apparently.
Yeah, when all 3 facets work. Yeah. You got to get your defense, offense, and special teams. Like, we scored a touchdown, and we were all excited. And then what did we do with Seattle? Now, I don't know what it is with Seattle, but Seattle, every time it plays us, always has that one special teams play against. Last year, it was that fake punt. They got us. This year, it was that free to the end zone punt return. They kind of takes away the momentum of what you're trying to build as a team. The Niners need to just tackle better. Now, one of the areas that I really see a weakness, and I've seen it from day one, and unfortunately, it is what it is, until Greenlaw is able to come back on the field. But DeAndre Campbell, I know he's trying. I know he's trying to do his best, and I can't fault him for that. And he's getting paid to be out there. If anybody offers you money to play, whether you can play good or not, you're going to get paid. But the guy can't tackle. The guy can't cover a receiver. And I don't know what Nick Sorensen is doing, putting him on a receiver like that. I was like, what are your thought processes on this? And Kansas City, one of the things that Patrick Mahomes loves to do, he loves to exploit the middle. And he goes after linebackers. So this is actually a little bit of concern where we know what we got with Fred Warner. But Fred Warner, as great as he is, he's just a one man. He needs that extra help like Greenlaw. They can take away their tight end, like he was doing in the Super Bowl. I don't know if Campbell can do that. So that's an area where they're going to have to bring in a safety. But if you bring in a safety to help, that leaves you a little bit vulnerable, for the long play. So I'm interested to see how Nick Sorensen game plans against Patrick Mahomes in this offense.
Yeah, so they got D Winners, and he's been playing well when he's in there. But I really think that they're kind of using him sparingly because he's been getting dinged up. And maybe that's not the reason why they're using him sparingly. But Devondre Campbell just stinks. And it's not, like you said, it's not his fault. He's just slow.
Yep.
I mean, that's really, I don't think it's his instincts. I don't think he necessarily has bad instincts.
His body can't keep up with his mind.
Yeah, he's just slow. He's lost a step. And and he can't get there. And his body, his mind is telling him, I can get here for this, but his body's just not making it.
Yeah, I know that feeling, bro.
So it's I think they're gonna have to make a business. I think that they've been easing D Winners in, but I think we're gonna see more and more of D Winners in that spot because D Winners does have the speed, he does have the want to, and he plays with a ton of fire. So I would like to see more D Winners out there.
Can he stay healthy though?
Yeah, that's the million. But you can't play. You can't.
No.
Play
You're
a
right.
guy
No.
Based on
he might get hurt or
I'm
not.
hoping he's not going to get hurt.
Correct.
It is what it is. If he gets hurt, he gets hurt. You got. I want to see more of the Bethune too. I want to see him as well.
The way that sounded. I want to see more of that Bethune.
But yeah, I want to see more of him too. And then the safety, the safety spot. They signed Adrian Amos.
Yes,
he was on the street, but he's a veteran. He's a veteran piece at safety, and he had played well for last season.
He played for the Jets, Robert Saleh, and he played for the Texans, D'Amico Ryans. So he knows this defense.
Yeah, I think he got released this year.
Yeah, he played for those two teams last year, and then at the end of the year, they just didn't sign him.
The Texans got beasts at safety. So, I mean, I could see how he might have gotten, but I don't understand why they didn't try to trade him. But either way, the Niners got a nice pickup there because last year, and maybe there's something we don't know about him physically, that is the reason why he was still on the street. Because last year he had a 71.8 PFF grade, which is more than serviceable.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I mean, he got drafted by the Bears and didn't do too bad with the Bears. And then he went to the Packers, played pretty good with the Packers. And then last year kind of was a down year a little bit for him. But I think in a good situation, he'll fit. I think he'll be on the practice squad for maybe a week or two. But it's nice to have him as a security blanket, especially with the young guys back there. Because besides Hufanga, I love Hufanga, but this dude comes one game, gets hurt, and then I don't know what's up with him. And right now, Jair Brown, second-year guy. Mustafa is a first-year guy. You need some veteran presence in there. Even not so much if he's on the field, but at least to be in the room with these guys, to be on the practice with the guys, to give these young guys some type of veteran presence on that field. I think that was a great pickup by the Niners.
Yeah, and I see you, Brad, down there talking about
Devin White.
But let's just be real. He's the
up there
same thing as
too.
Devondre.
Yeah.
He's the same thing as Devondre Campbell. He played himself. Who was it that traded for him last year? The Eagles traded for him last year, and he's a shade of his former self. He's not. I mean, he's not even close.
He's not the way he played when he played for the Bucks.
Yeah, no, that is not the same guy.
He's like, yeah,
I think
no.
So yeah, I don't think that that's an answer either.
No.
But you know, this Adrian Amos pickup, it really kind of made me. It makes me think that we're going to hear something about Hufanga sooner than later. I think that I get the vibe that they didn't just bring a guy like him in for just for depth pieces. Like I think Hufanga might be done for the year, because they had already said he was going to be out for at least a month. And
I hope not, but I hear you.
I hope not too, but I don't get a good vibe. We haven't heard anything about Hufanga.
He's been that could be a good thing too, though.
I mean, I guess it could be, but I don't know.
No,
I don't trust it. I pay attention to the moves that they make, and like when you go and get a veteran safety like Amos, that's played and knows the system. This isn't just a flyer you're taking. That tells me that you're planning on inserting him in with these other young guys, because I know Odom isn't an answer at safety, even though he didn't play bad in the last game. But
actually, he was pretty decent. Yeah, but
that was luck.
Trying to get consistency for him is hard.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we got lucky that he.
Do you think they'll put almost out there with Jair Brown? Both of them are from Penn State, by the way, so there'll be two Penn States back there. But do you think they might try to move Mustafa into that linebacker role instead of
No?
No? Okay.
No. I think that they love Mustafa like as that chess piece.
I'm with you.
I think they think of him as a more athletic Hufanga, to be honest. I think that's the way they want to use him.
Okay.
And they're going to move him around because that kid is a missile. And he has great instincts. He maybe doesn't have instincts as good as Hufanga's were when he first came in the league, but he's pretty good. And I think the kid just needs to get more and more reps. He's only going to get better. He has a great attitude. The guys in the locker room obviously love the kid to death. I don't know if anybody watched any of the sideline. They had Jawan Jennings mic'd up, and then they had some sideline video. And the guy, I'm telling you, I mean, this team has a lot of good camaraderie, regardless. But I felt like they are really pulling for him, Renardo Green. I think that they really like Renardo Green, and I think that this team is just on the cusp of doing of getting their wind underneath them.
You know, absolutely correct. I want to mention something that I heard David Lombardi earlier say that kind of caught my eye. We all, whether you love or don't love Javon Hargrave, he was brought in here for his pass rush skills than his run stopping skills. And he got hurt, as you know, he's out for the year. But then you bring these young guys in. And is it me, or does it seem like our run game got better since Hargrave went out? And I'm not saying Hargrave's a bad thing, but since he went out, it's kind of like it's been a blessing in disguise in the sense of the pass rush. In stopping the run, and they have brought some pass rush as well. The middle suddenly doesn't look too vulnerable anymore as it once did. And looking better. Is it me, or did you see progress and an upgrade when Javon went down?
I mean, I think that it's the same thing that we were talking about before the season started, and we said that Hargrave and Collins are almost the same are the same player. They're both pass rushing type. Even though Collins has done great in the run game, and Javon Hargrave was playing really. That was the first game he was actually playing really well all the way around, and
Yeah.
then he got hurt. But overall, I thought that they just needed more, and I think a lot of 49er fans have been begging them to bring in some bigger guys, and I think that's they got Evan Anderson, the undrafted guy, that played really well when
Yeah,
he gets a chance to
he's
play.
getting better. I like him.
And I just want to see more of him. Like, I think it really helps in the run game. Of course, you're not going to get much pass rush from him, but he's going to take up blockers. He's going to take multiple blockers
Which
to block.
can cause
and-
more sacks by the other guys.
Exactly. So it's just I think that's part of it, and then that meant more snaps for Kevin Givens, who has always been solid. And if on any other team, he'd probably be starting. But he always, whenever he gets a chance to play, he always does well. So the 49ers got some good depth play, and Jordan Elliott, he's flashed pretty nice. I didn't really see too much from Kalia Davis. He played a lot of snaps in this last game.
He's trying to get his feet underneath him.
Yeah, I didn't really see. I mean, anything that he didn't flash to me. I'll say that. But yeah, they've got some pieces. Jordan Elliott, when he gets a chance to play, he gets some penetration when he gets out.
He
there.
moves.
He's really
Yeah.
disrupting run plays. So.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like the mix that they've got going right now. If they could get some outside pass rush, if Floyd could just find a couple of years ago out of him,
Even last year, it's like he decides to slow down. Really?
Yeah, I mean, we got him a year too late.
Yeah.
Got him a year too late. That's all it is.
I think if Floyd would
didn't
be
play
able
too
to
bad
step
last
up,
game, though.
he's not playing bad. No, people are hating a little bit too much, and I'm not saying you, Pete, but people are hating on Floyd because he has not been the productive guy in the sacks department, but he's have been putting pressure. He just needs to continue to finish what he's starting, and I wish he was putting a little bit more pressure on his side to help out Bosa. I know that there's things out there flying around where could they go after Max Crosby from the Raiders? I think him and Bosa will be freaking menace to years to come. Both of those guys are amazing. Hassan Reddick from the Jets. The Jets are a mess. They did get Davante Adams. So I don't know if the Raiders are starting to clean house and trying to maybe go into a different direction, getting a quarterback and start building around the quarterback and that young tight end, Bowers, they took this year. Or they just got rid of Davante because Davante was being more of a distraction at the Raiders. Now, I did see Max Crosby pulled an Aaron Rodgers. Okay, Aaron Rodgers was shown shoving Robert Saleh out of the way. Next thing you know, Robert Saleh got fired. You see Crosby push his coach out of the way, like it, even though he came back on his social media and said it was a love push. My ass. He was pissed. He pushed him, and he had to sit there and bite, play the good guy. And you know what? We do things out of anger. We frustrated. I can imagine Maxwell being frustrated with the offense. The offense can't do nothing. The defense is tired, but they might move off of him. But then I think, while the Lions, who had a huge win against the Cowboys, unfortunately for them, and guys, keep him in prayer in our prayers. Aiden Hutchinson suffered a gruesome leg injury, and he's injured that leg before. So this is the second time injuring that same leg. He's out for the year. So if there's a team that needs to pay for a pass rusher, it's the Lions because they're so supposedly within that window. And I think Aiden Hutchinson was leading pass rushers this year in production, and it's sad that they lost him. I can see them going after Maxwell Crosby, Max Crosby or Reddick. What do you think?
I could see him totally fitting into that locker room. Can see him fitting in with that coach. Him and
Campbell,
Dan Campbell
What's up,
together
Tito?
is a recipe for just energy all over the place on the sideline. I don't want to see him go there. I'm hoping that.
No,
I'm
of
hoping
course.
some like Minnesota, or somebody that thinks that they're.
No,
a
I don't want
player
him in
away.
Minnesota either, but I hear you.
I mean,
Don't go to the
what I'm saying?
Packers.
One of those teams. Yeah, I wouldn't honestly because I don't think their defense is not a player away. Is my point. They're Minnesota. I don't think that he would make Minnesota unbeatable or anything.
No,
I think
no.
But
They still have Sam.
but yeah,
Darnold.
there's. Well, man, Sam has been playing well. But it is what it is.
He has.
I feel like there's a lot of teams in the market right now. We saw a lot of trades, a lot of pickups today. which I thought was kind
Buffalo
of
needs a
weird.
pass rush.
Yeah, Buffalo needs a pass rush. They've got a pretty good defense otherwise, for the most part.
Who, Buffalo?
Yeah.
They lost half of their
It's
players.
I mean, they had a lot of people injured, but I'm talking about as a whole, as a team. When they're healthy, they've actually got a pretty decent defense as far as I'm concerned.
They lost both of their safeties. They lost their linebacker. They lost
they're
a pass rusher
young,
to free
but
agency.
they're learning, but from what I've seen, they've just got a good scheme, and they've got a lot of young guys that are gonna be good, I think, and I think that they probably moved off of those guys like a year. They're right on time. You see Leonard, we've got one of them in Leonard Floyd. How would that have looked? But
In this window right now that we're in, being 3-3 with the defense that we have, and we're getting players back from injury, would it be out of the realm of possibilities in your mind if the Niners would trade for Max Crosby and give a number one for him? He's that type of player. He's not a Floyd.
I can't see it. I can't see it because they just how do you do that? Not saying that it can't be done, because the 49ers will find a way. How many years does he have left on his deal?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know.
Let me look it up.
But he's definitely and for the Niner. While you're looking it up, I just want to give a little history to the Niner fans. The fact that Nick Bosa and Max Crosby could have been originally Niners players playing amongst each other, because the Niners drafted Bosa in 2019, and in the fourth round they were going to draft Max Crosby, but the Raiders jumped up in front of them and took him. And so I'm like, man, what it could have been. But did you find how many years he has left?
So, yeah, he's got. We're in 2000.
I know it's not a huge contract. I mean, they can work his contract.
His it's a pretty good sized contract. His base is 20. He's getting paid 24 and a half this year. Next year he's got 22. The year after that he's got 18. That's his base. The guaranteed. Yeah, the dead cap. Let's see.
So how many years he has left on the contract?
This year, next year, he's unrestricted free agent in 2017. So he's got 2 years after this year.
Okay, because you can bring him in and then move on from Debo next year, and not feel that much of a hit against the cap.
They're not gonna. No, they restructured Debo.
That's right. But I wonder if they restructure him in a way where they can still let him go. No, that's dead money, though.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's dead
so
money.
this year, dead cap money, if they move off of him, 39 million.
Oh crap!
Like if they moved off of him this year, I don't think he's moving this year.
It's kind of like the divorce thing, right? Sometimes it's cheaper to keep her.
Yeah, exactly. I that would be shocking. 39 million of dead cap money.
That's a lot. Yeah. That's unthinkable. Why would you pay that money and not have him on your roster?
Yeah, then the next year they still take a 10 million dead cap hit.
What do you think about the Jets taking on Devontae's I mean, good for the Raiders. The Jets fans were kind of like happy that they gave up a fourth round for him, and then there came out to be that it's not a fourth, it's a third round. That can be possibly a second round if he becomes an old pro, which is kind of hard to see that at this stage of the season, but it could happen. But they took on all his money, not partial, all of it. I'm like, crap. But then again, it is the Jets. They're a dumpster fire. They lost yesterday. They got to do something to keep these fans happy because they're sinking. So when you're sinking,
no, they don't. They've been bad forever.
Yeah,
they don't care about the fans. They're just trying to get. They're trying. It's New York.
Woody Johnson doesn't care about his fans, huh?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Like, I mean, look at what they've been doing. They've been trying to sell to their fan base and sell to the media that they've been making this move, that move, talking about Joe Brady or whatever his name is. It's what's the name of their GM? I can't remember, but like they've been saying that he doesn't lose, he doesn't do bad deals, and they ended up with
he's not even making decisions right now. Woody stepped in.
Yeah, well, there's a reason. There's a reason because the team just stinks. Like they can't protect their quarterback. They can't. They brought in the guys that they brought in to protect him, and on the offensive line are the only ones playing well. The guys that they kept are still playing like garbage. And the what's it called? They're not good. Let's put it that way. And then they didn't get rid of Hackett. They just took away his play calling ability. And I mean, that's just, why didn't you just fire Hackett? Like
they can't.
I don't get it. Solid. Why couldn't they?
Because that's Aaron Rodgers' boy.
They do whatever they want.
Who? The Jets?
What would have Aaron?
Do you know why Devontae Adams is there? Because Aaron Rodgers cried like a little girl.
I understand.
You know why they fired? You know why Robert Saleh's not there? Because of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers probably had to sit there. They probably told Aaron Rodgers, "All right, Aaron, we're going to fire Robert Saleh, but in firing Robert Saleh that you want to happen, we're going to have to bring Hackett down too. You got to work with us." And he probably said, "Okay."
That's my point. That's my point. Is like why? Like, do you not have football people in the building that can say this probably isn't a good idea? This probably is not a good idea. Our defense is playing well, so we're going to get rid of our head coach that was in charge of the defense.
Yep.
And we're going to keep the defensive coordinator to think that was, that'll be good enough to keep the defense rolling. But we're going to keep Hackett, who can't call anything. Their offensive line can't block anybody. Devontae, him and Devontae are probably going to pass for a lot of yards. I could see it. But you're still not going to win games because you can't beat the good teams when it's just you and one dude.
Aaron Rodgers is
can't run the ball. They can't run the ball. That's the other part of the reason why Aaron Rodgers looks so bad is because they can't run the ball. He needs somebody to take some of the pressure off.
Well, they have a good running back. They just have been calling. They actually ran the ball very well yesterday against Buffalo for the first time under this new coordinator. They actually ran the ball very well. So it's not they don't have the player. Hackett is just a bad. Listen, when Robert Saleh got hired there was no indication of Aaron Rodgers. The minute that the Jets just started to smell the Aaron Rodgers, it was doomsday for Robert Saleh. Why? Because Robert Saleh did not choose Nathaniel Hackett. Okay, they told him Rodgers is coming and he's bringing his coach and we're going to make him offensive coordinator. He had to let go of his offensive coordinator that he brought with him. Forgot his name, but they brought him with him. He's the brother of the coach of Green Bay. And that was the guy that Robert Saleh felt comfortable. But here comes Aaron Rodgers. Here comes his guy. Robert Saleh didn't have a chance. This guy, Daniel Hackett, stinks as a head coach and as a play caller. But because of Aaron Rodgers, he got passes. Lazard is not a good receiver, but he's there because of Aaron Rodgers. Now you bring in Davante Adams. If things do not work this year, Davante Adams only has 1 year left this year. He may not sign next year to stay on with the Jets. If he decides to move on and Aaron Rodgers retires, because the Jet fans, I feel bad for them. I really do, because they're going to, all this craziness they brought in up on them, this headache, they're going to be gone next year, and they're going to be sitting in the same spot, hopelessness with nothing. Mm-hmm. And it's that franchise has been a joke for a very long time. When was the last time they made the playoffs? It's been a while since they even sniffed the playoffs.
Yeah, it's been a minute. But I mean, they just don't have a culture.
They
don't have a culture.
You're right.
And you can't build upon anything if you don't have a culture. And bringing Aaron Rodgers isn't going to help your culture.
No,
he's not.
That was a Band-Aid on a sinking ship. It's like they put a Band-Aid on a ship that's been sinking. You don't put a Band-Aid on it because it begins to leak. It's leaking now. Aaron Rodgers.
A lot of teams just think that they can bring in a quarterback and
based on their history,
historically great, and think that that's just gonna. But the reality of today's NFL is that today's NFL is all about the scheme and the fit, and your fit in the scheme. If you don't fit with that scheme, it's not gonna look nice.
Yep.
Period. So
they wanted a Tom Brady with the Bucs type of situation. He came to the Bucs, took them to the Super Bowl his first year. But the Bucs are not great either, but they're a way better organization than the Jets. And Tom Brady was at that point, it was still better than Aaron Rodgers at this point now, playing football. So Aaron Rodgers is just a weird dude, bro. He's a weird dude. He's a little boy in a full man's body. He wants things his way. If he doesn't get it his way, he has tantrums, and he'll sit there and start screaming and starting chaos, bringing division in the locker room because he gets mad. Yesterday, he looked awful. Aaron Rodgers. Listen, this is my personal opinion. I don't think bringing Davante Adams is going to fix a lot of those things that need fixing. Because Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion, is not the same Aaron Rodgers that he was a year prior to leaving Green Bay when he was an MVP. Mm-hmm. So
I agree.
We shall see. But enough about Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. Who gives a rat's blankety blank blank? They're not part of our discussion. We're Niner fans. Let's start bringing it in, reeling it in. Peaks, I know you gotta go early. The Niners are coming off a mini bye. They went ahead and got almost a safety. They picked up another kicker to the practice squad because they don't know where they're at kick wise. Ricky Parcells' window has been opened, which is a positive thing. I just pray that the people start getting better and staying healthy and looking forward. Now, we got the Chiefs, then we got the Cowboys, and then we got the bye, a much-needed bye, week 9. And then coming from the bye, I forgot who we play after the bye. But the Chiefs, now people are like, well, at least the Niners have a mini bye. But the Chiefs are coming off a bye. Guess what? The Cowboys are going to be coming off a bye.
Yeah.
And it's like,
The Bucks will be
that-
coming off a bye too, I believe.
And people ask, why is this happening? It's because of that stadium. The Niners don't want to play a lot of day games in September. They want to play night games because of the heat. So they make a certain negotiation discussion with the NFL, and they get a lot of these teams that are coming off bye. Because we went through that same situation last year, didn't we? That we played a lot of teams coming off a bye.
Yeah. But
Buffalo's going to be coming off a bye when we play them.
yeah, I just don't. I don't buy too much into that. Like, I just think that you're either. I think the 49ers are going to get their nice little their 10-day rest. That should be. They should just be ready to play, in my mind. Like, it's the talking about people being on bye, coming off a bye. In fact, and to me, like, that means that you're more ready to play than those other teams. Like, those teams are kind of rested and they got their guard down. Like, so you need to just come in there and hit them in the mouth.
Thank you, Texas Rattler, 2011. He says we play Tampa coming off the bye in Tampa.
Yeah,
appreciate that. Yeah, man. Myles Garrett. Thank you, Kenny. That's another, because the Browns are just terrible team right now. Do you see them getting away from Myles Garrett and going a different direction? And if they do, but it's whenever I hear Myles Garrett or I hear Max Crosby or I hear Reddick, I'm thinking Detroit Lions first. They need a starting pass rusher or two. They got the money. They're in that window that a player going to that team could make it to the Super Bowl. So if I was a player, would I go to the Lions or would I go to the Niners? And if you're not a Niner fan, I can say that's a kind of a 50-50 pool, right? I can see a player saying 50 because both teams are good. Both teams have a chance to make it to the Super Bowl. And if truth be told, the Lions look like they're in a better prime position than we are so far of getting there. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but so whenever I see these available names out there, I just think that now that Detroit needs a pass rusher because Aiden Hutchinson got hurt, that they're going to make every attempt to go after these guys, and they're probably going to outbid the Niners. And the Niners don't really need a pass rusher. I think for us, it'll be more of a luxury thing than a necessity. And I think the Lions definitely, if they want to keep that window open, they must bring in a pass rusher.
Ooh. Yeah, the Myles Garrett is probably not the one. This year, he's got a $56 million dead cap hit.
Oh, crap.
Next year, it's a $36 million because they added a whole bunch of void years to his deal. Like, he's basically got void years through 2030.
I don't know what Cleveland. I don't know how they run over there. Given Deshaun Watson, $200 million guaranteed. Yeah, what has Deshaun Watson really shown in his career? He's played well when he was with Texans, but he has. I can understand they're doing that to Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, or even Joe Burrow, or the kid over there with the Ravens, Lamar Jackson. But to give it to Deshaun Watson, based on what I've seen from him, $200 million guaranteed. That general manager and owner are a joke over there. So and you just said it. They can't get rid of Myles, even if they wanted to. The dead cap, $56 million.
Yeah,
I don't see him leaving.
He ain't going nowhere this year.
Yeah,
or next year.
Unless a team picks that up. But name me a team that's going to pick up that much money. I don't know, bro. Yeah. So I don't even think Detroit would even smell that. Pete, what do you got going on your channel this week, brother? Pete is a very busy man. He has a lot of things going on his channel. The guy is growing his channel. Pete, I'm not even going to mention what you mentioned to me off the camera. If you want to bring that up and share with the fans, you can. If not, it's cool. With the new projects you're coming up with. But at the very least, what do you have going on in your channel, my friend?
So, Niner Fanatic Podcast. We are on like I'll be having my show this week on Friday. I usually have it on Thursday, but I'm gonna have it on Friday this week with my guy CJ from Chiefs Carcast. Like I want to say it's the name of the podcast. They're a really good show. Like you guys got to check them out. Like, but basically it's he's a Chiefs fan. Guy I know really well. He's a really good guy. Like, so make sure you check out that show on Friday. We'll be going on at 8 or 6:30 Pacific time, and so I'm doing that. And then of course Sunday I'll be doing a show right after the game. It's a reaction show. But yeah, I'm in the middle of a rebrand. Like I've started creating some stuff, some new stuff, new look for the channel. I'm really excited about a lot of the things that I've already got in place. But it's probably going to be a little bit before I can get everything ready to just roll out. But it's coming, and yeah, I'm super excited about it. And because I did it all myself too. So, but yeah, that's really it. Like I'm on YouTube, on Twitter, I'm on Facebook. We are on Twitch. And if you don't like looking at my face, you can get it anywhere where you can get your audio podcast. There is no excuse. There is no, unless you don't like my voice either. So,
yeah, that's we're in trouble there.
I don't care where you get it, just get it, and make sure that you tell a friend to tell a friend so we can be friends every day, every week.
Right on. And I'm going to stay on a little bit longer because I got nothing to do. So I'm going to let Pete go. Pete, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to keep the 30 people that are still here entertained a little bit longer. Unless they all leave because you left, and I know they're here for you. We'll find out in a minute. But Pete, thank you for being part of the show, brother. It's always a pleasure. Have your fun with your family, and we will talk to you next week on Tuesdays at 2:30. Excuse me, 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. All right, Pete. Talk to you later, my friend.
All right, brother.
All right, guys. Hold on.
I'll see everybody later.
Bye-bye. We're gonna jump over to my screen. And I'll take over for a little bit. If you guys have any questions for me, I will open it up for questions. Go ahead and throw them at me. Anything you want to share, I'll be happy to talk about for a few more minutes before I get out of here myself. But there's a lot of you in here. If you haven't hit the like button, if you haven't subscribed already, would appreciate that. And if you're watching me on Facebook, thank you for watching us on Facebook. Do me a favor. Go to my YouTube channel. Help me grow my channel. Niner Sickness Podcast. Go to the channel on YouTube. Type in Niner Sickness Podcast. I pop right up. And subscribe to my YouTube channel. And hit the like button. And hit the notification bell. So that you will be notified each and every time I go live. So that you get the opportunity. So on Tuesdays, myself, Peter, who you just seen, and Brandon, who wasn't able to make it tonight, we get together every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. here on all three of our channels. If you want to know their links, in the description below, everybody's social media links are there. All you got to do is click on them and go to their channels and support them as well. On Thursday, the day after tomorrow, myself, and the lovely Jess from the East Coast, Red and Gold podcast, we have our show, the Niners Now podcast, and we go live at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Thursdays. So Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m., myself, Brandon, and Pete. On Thursdays, it's myself and Jess. We go live on Thursdays at 5 p.m. And then periodically, I will go live whenever something comes up or if I just want to talk to you guys. This is why it's important to have the notification bell clicked on. And let's see. So let me see if you guys have some of these questions I can answer. Lloyd Bank, welcome to the show, bro. Welcome to the show. David Villa, if I haven't mentioned you, welcome to the show. Says Ward is having a bad season so far. He has been dealing with injuries, Lloyd. He's been dealing with some injuries. And listen, when you're a corner and you are relying on your speed and you are relying on your movement of your hips and your feet to be able to keep up with great receivers, and you are struggling some way or some sort physically, it's hard to have a great season when you're battling injuries. And I think Ward is going. Now, for those that love Ward, that can be a beneficial for us. Because if he was having 100% great season, an all-pro season, he will definitely outprice himself to re-sign with us. But maybe if he's having that down season like he is, maybe he'll be a little bit more affordable to bring back in the offseason. Now, I am fired up. I brought a rookie, Ronaldo Green, Lenore. I can see that being a tantrum for a while. Ronaldo Green, opposite of Lenore. I can see that happening. And then in the middle, it can be, hopefully we can bring someone there. I don't want to see number 22 if I don't have to. Isaac Yadam, the less I see of him, the better. Now, I understand they put him out there because they need him, but the less I see of him, the better. Hey, dummies. Tommy Huxley. What's up, brother? What's up, my brother? ¿Cómo estás, hermano? Good to see you, Tommy. Let's see here. This is this the word last? Well, he's in his contract season. So, yes, it could be his last season, Val. If he outprices himself or a team pays him more than what the Niners feel he is valued at, that I can see him moving on. Now, we do have Ronaldo Green in the wings, kind of waiting to step up. This is what I love about this regime. They always draft not only for the present, but for the future. So, but I would hope that Charvarius Ward comes back 1 to couple more years. I would love, the reason why, because you can have Ronaldo Green playing opposite of Charvarius Ward, and then you can have Lenore as your corner, as your inside slot corner. So now you have 3 great corners. You got Ronaldo Green on the outside, you got Charvarius on the opposite side, on the outside, and then you got Lenore, Demo in the inside. And then you have Hufanga, if he comes back, or you have Jair Brown, and then you have Mustafa as your safeties. That secondary is definitely looking better and better with Ward in it. We shall see, though. We shall see. Sickness, what did you think of Kalia Davis? Kalia Davis, in my opinion, great question, David. For what I saw in this game, he kind of is trying to get his feet underneath him. He's been injured for the most part. He's trying to get that football shape. One of the things that we know that you can be in good shape and still be out of football shape. And football shape is completely different than being just in shape, which I am in neither one of them. So what do I know? What do I know? I know, hey, round is the shape. So I do know. But seriously, I think Kalia Davis kind of is getting his feet underneath him. He'll be better. He has great potential. But I have been loving Jordan Elliott. Jordan Elliott has been really stepping up, and he has been commanding at least 2 bodies on him. He's been destructive against the run. I love myself of Jordan Elliott. This kid is special. I think he just needs more playing time. Collins has been doing his thing. So Evans, Anderson, this kid just needs to continue to play more and play more. That boy demands 2 defenders at all times. So we'll see what happens, man. Kimo says, I really like Isaac Guerrero. He really showing me something. Yeah, Guerrendo's coming up a little slow, but he's starting to pick up on the offense. He gave us a little glimpse of what he can do once he gets through the second base. Once you hit second base and you're hitting those secondary, because you got to get you got to get through the linebackers and then hit that, or maybe third phase, because you got to go through the defensive lineman, linebacker, and then get to the third phase, which is the secondary. But the boy can hit it on third gear. The boy can move. Kind of reminds me of Raheem Mostert. Not as fast, but fast enough. I would love to see the combination of CMC, Jordan Mason, and Isaac Guerrero. It looks so far, out of all the running backs that Kyle Shanahan has drafted, the fact that he took Guerrero in the 4th round instead of your typical 3rd round might give us hope for Guerrero, personally. Let's see. Any more questions? Give me some questions, guys. Carnal, Beto. Hey, Tommy, listen, guys. Follow Tommy Huxley. The guy, it's a great musician. The boy can play the bass guitar. Check out that beautiful bass guitar that he has right there. The boy can play some beautiful music. Great guy. Support him. Follow him. If you love great music, the boy can play some mean stuff, man. So follow him. Support him. Great guy. Niners can't afford Ward and Demo. You'll be surprised, Val. You'll be surprised what the Niners can afford and cannot afford. The whole thing about we can't afford this player with that player, people have been saying that we can't afford a Ayuk with Debo. Now that Ayuk signed this big contract, Debo is going to have to go in 2025. No, he doesn't. There's a way in keeping Debo Samuel in 2025 with Ayuk and Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy contract. Brock Purdy will get paid this offseason. He will get paid this offseason. But what people don't realize is that Brock's contract is not going to hurt the team. I don't know if I want to use the word hurt. It's not going to what's the right word I want to use here? It's not going to affect. There we go. It is not going to affect the team into probably 2028. So, and then by that time, by 2028, 2027, by that time, maybe our left tackle, Trent Williams, retires, so his money drops. Maybe Kittle is not the Kittle that he was once, and then maybe we move off of Kittle. So there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to contracts. Yes, Brock Purdy's going to get paid the market value of what he deserves to get paid, whether it's $60 million or 58 or 57. But that is not going to step in right away. It's not going to affect us right away. So the fact that we can keep Debo, we can keep Ayuk, Kittle, Juice, and it's all possible. So the question of Val was, can you afford these contracts? Fred Warner's kind of, there's a way that you can do it all. Look at the Eagles. Now, the Eagles are not playing good because, let's face it, their head coach is a moron. The Eagles head coach is a complete clown. He is a clown. How do you, as a head coach, gonna sit there and argue with your fan base? Yes, I understand some fan bases can be really harsh, but that is what you signed up for. Especially playing in Philadelphia, you signed up for a hostile fan base. What do I mean by hostile? Listen, those fans, like all fans, Niner fans included, we pay our hard-earned money. We pay our hard-earned money to buy those tickets, to buy those seats. So when we pay all that money and we go to the game, we expect to see a good product on the field. We expect to see a great product on that field. And when it's not great, when it's not good, as a fan that pays money for those seats deserve to show their frustration. So if boos are coming down from the fan base, it's because, Nick, you're not doing your job as a head coach. You barely beat the Browns by 4 points at home. You barely beat a team like the Browns that are not a good team by 4 points, and you have the audacity to go up to your own fan base who pay their hard-earning money and argue with them because you are a crybaby. You can't handle them booing you. Get out of your feelings, boy. And then he has the audacity to bring his kids when he talks to the media. He knew the media was going to attack him because the way he spoke to the fans. What did he do? He brought his kids. He used his kids as a crutch so he would not have to face the media. That coach, in my book, is a bum. He is a bum. Nick Sirianni, you stink. Using your own kids as a shield to protect yourself from the media. That is weak, bro. Weak. I'm sorry that I went on a tantrum, but that really irks me, man. It really does. What's up, Marcus? Marcus is in the house. How you doing? So how do you think McCaffrey will be when he returns? Will he be 100%? I don't think 100% is realistic, Marcus, this year. I don't. But I think that if you have an 85% McCaffrey, you're still in a good situation. Now, if McCaffrey's going to come back, we're probably going to start hearing rumors after the bye. Our run game has been working. There's no reason to push or speed up his timetable, in my opinion. Let him continue to heal. He sounds better. He's definitely able to practice and not digress. He's been doing better. If we just come, Marcus, I think it'll be after the bye week, maybe against the Bucks, maybe the week after the Bucks. But if we can have him for the playoffs, if we can have a healthy, imagine this, guys, a healthy Christian McCaffrey going into the playoffs. a healthy or as healthiest as we can have him going into the playoffs, how important that would be to trying to achieve the goal that we try to achieve at the beginning of the year is to lift that Lombardi trophy at the end of the season. Tommy is correcting me. Well, listen, for one, I'm not a musician myself. I don't play I play music on my Apple Music app. That's about as close as it gets. And I don't even sing because my wife says that I can turn off the water in the shower if I start singing. So do I know the difference between an electric guitar and a bass guitar? Obviously not. Thank you for bringing that out, Tommy. Thank you for hurting my feelings after I gave you that great introduction, after I spoke highly of you. You're going to hurt my feelings by saying, hey, stupid, that's not an electric, that's an electric guitar, not a bass. Laughing out loud. I'm kidding. I don't get easily hurt. Hey, bro, I'm a big boy. If I can handle seeing myself in the mirror, I can handle anything. Let's go. I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry because Tommy's being mean. Got you. Come on, guys. Any more questions any questions you may have about the team, about what's going on? I can answer them to the best of my ability. I am feeling it right now. I'm feeling good. Make sure to hit the like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. Many of you are watching me from Facebook, whether it's on my Niner Beto Facebook page or my personal page, Beto Luna, who I just added to the stream, or you're watching me from the Niner Sickness Podcast Facebook page, Instagram, X, or yeah, that's pretty much it. If you get a chance, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, if you can just take a moment, it doesn't cost you anything, but it helps me out a lot. If you can take a moment to go to YouTube, all you got to do is on the search button, type in Niner Sickness Podcast. I pop right up, click on it, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. And from that point, if you choose to watch me on Facebook, that's fine. Whatever makes it easiest for you. The fact that you're watching me, period, it's a blessing to me. But if you guys can support me by going to YouTube and hitting that subscribe button, that is support enough for me. Oops, I pulled it down. You're absolutely right there. Let him rest. Look what happened to Hufanga. Yeah, they brought Hufanga, although his injury was a little different, but to your point, right now, to me, there's no need to bring Christian McCaffrey in right now. We're doing fine because they gave against the Rams and against the Cardinals. We shouldn't have lost those games. I think personally, Don, the Niners were feeling a little bit too much of themselves. They had to be humbled. How many of you know that sometimes in life, we need to be humbled? We need to be brought back down to earth. We need to realize we're not a machine. We're human. And I think the Niners were so used to just winning, dominating, that they kind of felt all they got to do is show up and win. And they found out the hard way against the Rams and against the Cardinals. If you showing up is not enough anymore. You got to show up and play. And I think they took a hard look at themselves, went back to basics, and they came out on Thursday and had a great game against the Seahawks. Great game against the Seahawks. A bounce back game. Hopefully a game that puts them in the right direction Do you guys remember the last year we won a Super Bowl? It was 1994 when we. It's been a long time, I know, since we won a Super Bowl. You're like, some of us are like, I wasn't born yet. Okay, that's just showing my age. But my point is, in that season, the Niners lost to Kansas City and Joe Montana. That was the year. That was the offseason that Joe Montana was traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. The first year that the Niners and Steve Young played against Kansas City. I'm trying to remember the running back that was from the Raiders that went to Kansas City as well. And we lost to Kansas City. And then we had that embarrassment against the Eagles. I think it was 40-8. And Coach George Seifert decided to pull Steve Young out of the game. And Steve Young was livid. He was like, what? That was the year that the Niners won the Super Bowl. After losing to the Eagles, they did not lose one last game. Now, this year is a little different, but sometimes you need that wake-up call. Sometimes you need to come back down to earth, self-examine yourself individually and as a team. We got work to do. If we want to win a championship, we got to put in work. It's not enough just to show up. It's not enough just to show up. We got to put in work. And this could be a wake-up call for the 49ers. And they much need it because now they're facing a Kansas City Chiefs team that I don't think they're better than last year. But they have Patrick Mahomes, they have Chris Jones, and they have Andy Reid and Travis Kelce still there. I believe they lost one of their receivers. I don't know if he's going to play. I don't know if they lost him for the season, they lost him for a few games, or if he's even back the game against us. But to me, the Chiefs is going to be a true test of where the Niners are at mentally, physically. And I think this wake-up call came perfectly against Seattle. So now they can go into this game with the Chiefs understanding if we do not play our best game, it is not just good enough to show up. In other words, offensive linemen, and I'm talking to Trent Williams, the silverback, the all-pro. Stop with the offside penalties. These self-destruction things that we do. We throw a nice pass or we have a nice run for a huge gain and it gets called back because of an offensive penalty or illegal shift. We cannot shoot ourselves in the foot when it comes to the Chiefs. We got to be at our A game. You can't be dropping balls in this game. You got to tackle better than you have. You got to wrap up. Kovis McKivitt, you better pray. You better pray that you will have the courage and the strength to handle Chris Jones if he decides to play on the outside a few snaps. And the rookie, Dominic Pooney, I am very confident in Dominic Pooney. Not so much on McKivitz, But I am confident in Dominic Pooney that he will hold his own against Chris Jones. PFF put Dominic Pooney as the 9th best guard in the NFL. He is a rookie, and he is the 9th best. Now, you might say, well, 9th is kind of out of 30, not even 30, because that's 32 teams. So 32 is what, 64? Because there's 2 guards, left guard and right guard. He's 9th best. So it's going to be a great matchup. I'm going to be interested in watching a great matchup between Dominic Pooney and Chris Jones. I want to see the matchups. I can't wait for the film afterwards. I want to see the footwork of Dominic Pooney. I want to see how Forrester handles his offensive lineman against that defense. And I'm going to be honest, I'm curious to see what the Niners are going to do in the middle of the field. We got the great All-Pro Fred, first ballot Hall of Famer, in my opinion. But he's only one man. We are still missing Dre Greenlaw, unfortunately. And Patrick Mahomes loves to exploit the middle with his tight ends. Is Campbell going to step up and have one of his best games? Or is he going to do what Campbell does, which is partly nothing? And I'm not trying to be harsh on Campbell. It ain't Campbell's fault. He's up there in age. His mind is trying to do things that his body can't do anymore. Because I have chronic pain because of my disability, being that I've been paralyzed from my waist down. For those that don't know, I was paralyzed from my waist down for 10 years, 10 and a half years. I told I'll never walk again. But I can be laying in bed from the night before, and when I'm laying there, I don't have that much pain. I'm like, man, I'm going to do this, and that. These are the things that I'm going to do today. And the minute I get out of bed and my pain kicks in, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I won't do this and that after all. So my brain tells me one thing, my body tells me something different. And Campbell, even though in his case it's not injuries or chronic pain, it's just age. So is he going to be able to cover Travis Kelce? Probably not. So that's going to be interesting to see what Nick Sorensen does to fill in that gap. Is that why they brought in Almos? To play 3 safety looks and help out Campbell? I'm interested to see how they attack this. Kansas City Chiefs offense. I didn't know that. Okay. So bass has 4 strings and guitars have 6. Honestly, I did not know that. That is something that I learned today. Awesome. It only took 54 years to learn that. I am doing great, and my beautiful wife is doing even better. She's rearranging her office. My wife gets bored sometimes, and she decides that she wants to rearrange her office. So she's doing her thing. But we are blessed, always blessed. As long as we have God in the middle of our marriage, I can't complain, ladies and gentlemen. I can't complain. God is good. Rod, in the house. Marcus Allen. Yes, that was his name. Marcus Allen. Thank you, Rod. And I appreciate you popping in. Val also said Allen. Thank you, Val. Appreciate that. Rick Diaz in the house. ¿Qué pasa, Beto? Let's go, Niners. I'm a little slow on the comments, but I appreciate you guys for stopping by. You guys are awesome. It is time to put the issues with beating the Chiefs to bed. Take care of the ball. Play well. All three faces. Score TDs in the red zone, not field goals. Easier said than done. To your mouth, to their ears. I'm really want to see how the special teams of the Niners are going to play on Sunday. They have given us some gashes that I do not like. Campbell is trash. Sorry to say. Well, I was trying to be polite, Val. Trying to be polite. Campbell is still a human being. I see your point. I'm just going to say he's an older gentleman that his body can't produce what his mind wants him to do. Trent of Barkley. I am baffled with that Trent of Barkley. I'm going to the game. That's awesome. Representing the Niners at the game. Our brother from a different mother. Oh, that's your name. That's the name you have for Trent of Barkley. Okay. I must be getting tired now because I totally misread that. I didn't read it as your name. I read it as a comment. And then I read, I'm going to the game. And it took a few seconds for that to register. Go figure. I'm losing it here. That's good. Awesome. I'm glad you guys are doing good. How are my two favorite young ladies doing today? If your girls are watching, hello, girls. Good to see you. Give you guys a huge shout out from the Niner Sickness Podcast. Thank you for watching, girls. You guys are the best. Ariel and I'm bad with names. Don't tell me. Jayla, right? Jayla and Ariel. Listen, I forget my own name. That's why I have it and tattooed on my hand. Oh yeah, my name is Beto. I am terrible, let me tell you. Now, the only name I don't forget is my wife's because she scares me. If special teams cost us another W this week, heads need to roll. Will they roll, though? That's the main question, Brad. We will destroy the Chiefs. All caps. Yell it to me, David. Yell it out, baby. Yeah, no. Cal did I say Barkley? Berkeley. O-M-G.
Oh my God. Qué tonto. Yo mucho tonto.
Not only am I tired, but apparently I can't read either. Thank you, Brad. Trent, how much were their tickets? How much were the tickets? See, I'm getting tired. I'm getting dumber by the minute. Oh, you're a season ticket holder. Awesome. Awesome. Those are two wonderful young ladies. They have a beautiful role model in their mom, Dawn, who's an amazing mother. They have a great dad, even though he's a Raiders fan. Boo. It's okay, though. We'll give him props. he had two beautiful little girls. So I got to give credit where credit is due. You guys have been amazing. It's an hour and 45 minutes in. I wanted to stay a little bit over to talk to you guys, answer questions. But I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Give you back your Tuesday evening. Thank you for hanging out with your boy Niner Sickness here on the Niner Sickness podcast. Thank you for tuning in on Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to see myself, Peter, and Brandon. Looking forward to seeing you guys on Thursday here on my channel as me and Jess have our podcast, Niners Now podcast, at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. God bless you. I'm going to leave you with this. Continue to pray for all the victims in Florida, North Carolina, everything that has gone through, the hurricanes that are happening right now. Please keep everyone and their families in your prayers. Pray for Aiden Hutchinson for a quick, speedy recovery from that gruesome leg injury. And I also want to say this. Jesus loves each and every one of you. Jesus loves you all. If you don't know who he is and want to get to know him, let me know. And this guy will tell you about him. With that said, God bless, good night, and we'll see you on our next podcast. Let's go. Go Niners. Niners forever. Peace.